So I just got here to the greenhouse. I'm gonna be doing quite a bit of seeding today. Dad sanitized seeds about 2 days ago, and now they're finally dried out. So I'm gonna package these up and then head down to the farm. Started laying out all my seeds. Marigolds, thyme, spearmint, more marigolds. More marigolds. Then we're doing tomatoes, and I have peppers, and I already did some celosia. And so as I was getting my tags and trays prepared, Pap called and said he got a salad prepared with hot bacon dressing, and so that looks delicious. I'm gonna eat that, and then once I get that in my belly, I can start working on getting all this done. And so yesterday I went around to everything in both greenhouses and fertilized, besides the seedlings. They just got plain water, but just about all of the pots besides petunias and the calibrachoa got 20-10-20. So like all the grasses, all the celosia, all the xenogeraniums, and then all these guys and the petunias down here got 18-6-18, which will help them from getting like that yellow on the leaves, and the hanging baskets as well, all hanging up. And that's nice now because everything is, I wouldn't say soaked and heavy, but it's watered well. And today is a cloudy day, and that means since I watered yesterday, everything won't need really any water today, or if it does, just light touching up. And so that gives me all my time to focus on seeding. So I just finished up this section right here, which is mostly marigolds. Sammy showed up to bring me lunch. She's wearing her new jacket, which I'm not very fond of. Sammy, show them how it's reversible. I think it looks like a seat cushion.
A seat cushion.
Cut up into like a jacket. It's got like the threads through it. Yeah. I don't know. You guys can see what, tell me what you think in the comments. But so anyway, I'm gonna read off. Marigold Superhero Spry is the first one, Sammy. And that's a 3/4 tray. All these are gonna be 3/4 tray. The next one is Bonanza Mix. And you can see whose handwriting is nicer, mine or Sammy's. Extremely windy out, like it is every day. I think my Graham and Pap are coming today to transplant, which would be good because even though they've been doing a ton, we still have a lot more to go. Slowly but surely this greenhouse is filling up. That whole corner down there is going to be sunflowers. We're pretty full up until this point, which we still have that section and a little section there. And then we have this whole entire section here and here, which this will be the last thing because that's where all our supplies is. I don't usually come over here a lot because I don't do much of the transplanting or really the watering this time of year because I'm always seeding. And that's actually why I'm over here again. I'm gonna be doing a different kind of seeding, which is gonna be dill and sunflowers. I'll grab my flat I have my 1206s, which means there's 12 packs of 6, 72 altogether. And I'm gonna put one tray just in the flat like that, and then I'll fill it with dirt. And I'll do the same thing with what's called my 1201s, which is these right here. These again are just 12 cells of 1, and this is gonna be for the dill, which are pretty stuck together. So now that I got 3 of each, I'm gonna do 3 different varieties of sunflowers, which you'll see that in a minute. And then I'm only gonna do 1 variety of dill. And so I could do it in 1204s, which I think I actually did last year. And maybe I'll do again, I don't really know. But you can just take this whole cell then of dill, you can just put it right in the ground, and then it can grow however it needs to. The reason I did 1204s was because I thought, well, then people could pull out each individual cell and they could place it in a row, they could place it all together, they could place it in different spots, whatever they wanted to do, they could do. So now I'm actually kind of, now I'm actually kind of rethinking my decision here. I haven't decided yet what I want to do with the dill. I'm just going to do the sunflowers for now and then decide later once these are done. So I got my 3 varieties. Real Carnival, which in my opinion is the biggest and nicest, but doesn't germinate as good as the Smiley and Sunbuzz. You've got the Smiley, which is the smallest of the 3 and probably my least favorite, but good stand, and it still is a nice sunflower, grows really well. And then you got Sunbuzz, which I would say just overall as far as sunflowers go is just the best. It's the medium size of the 3. It germinates really well. It just performs really well in the pots. It's not huge and like takes over. Just all around I would say is my favorite one, but everybody likes something different. That's why we always grow different varieties. So I guess I'll start with Sunbuzz. Very simple process. I just dump the seeds out into my hand, like so. And then I'll just drop 1 seed on the top of each cell. And then I'll show you what I do as soon as I finish doing the whole trick. And then I just take my finger, and I would say probably like a 1/2 inch. I just push that seed down. There's 2 seeds there. So they're all done now. We've got Real Carnival, Sunbuzz, and Smiley. Now it's officially Smiley. And so all I'll do is I'm gonna move these out of my way. That way, or at least one of them. So then what I'll do is take my seeding soil, which doesn't really have those big chunks in it, and lightly feather that out over, and then lightly feather it across the flat. I don't want to dig my hand down in because then I could possibly dig that seed back out, which would be very bad. Just like that, and that's it. I'll do the same for the next 3 trays, and then I can move on to the dill. I decided to go with 2401s for the dill. Never did this before, but this just seems like the right answer. And so I just did this tray. And how I make my impressions in the soil is I used to lift it up and just let it slam down, but then I just decided to take this. And it seems to be a lot more even and really no slower or faster. So that's how I put my impressions in the soil. And then once I get all them done, I'll sprinkle my seed. If you remember when I got my seed in, I got that huge bag of dill seeds. So then I took my mom's container here and permanently made it mine and filled it with dill seed. That way I don't need this big bag. And so just open that up, grab a pinch full out, and just lightly sprinkle the dill seed around just like I do onions and chives. I want the whole cell to be filled though, so that's why I try and distribute it evenly. So then I don't really know why, but then I cover the dill seed with vermiculite, unlike the onions and chives. Really, I think you're gonna have the same germination or stand as you would with regular dirt, but this is just what I've always done, so I just keep doing it. So it's actually getting pretty late, but we're gonna attempt to order strawberries now to plant this coming season. More towards like the end of summer, early fall, because we're gonna order mostly plugs, if not all plugs this year, because we liked it so much last year. Ideally, we order all of our plants every single year from Norse Farms. This is just all the previous year catalog. There's 21, 22, 23, 24. This year's obviously 25. And Norse doesn't just sell strawberries, they sell raspberries, they sell more raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, elderberries, currants, vegetables like asparagus. But all that really doesn't matter because all we are interested in is the strawberries. Now, as you can see, they grow a ton of different varieties. As for us, what works well here doesn't always work well on other farms or in other states. That's why they even have like different growing zones on each strawberry to let you know what might work better in your area. And after now growing strawberries for like, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 years, we kind of know what works well and what we don't want, at least in the Norse varieties that they grow. There is other growers that grow different varieties that we've never even tried. I can't really put my input on those. And so there's this little key here at the top, which is really nice because it makes it simple for not only growers, like big growers, but also just, you know, at-home growers. And so there's plasticulture choice, which is what we grow in. There's disease resistant, which is obviously very good. Very winter hardy, again, it gets very cold here, that's good for us. You pick favorite, again, that's very nice to have. Roadside fresh market, again, you know, we don't want our berries going bad in 1 or 2 days. Excellent yields, like basically all this stuff is what you want. Now, every strawberry doesn't have all that. That's why you gotta pick and choose what you like for what you wanna grow. So I marked all these with a question mark, X, or a check mark. Check obviously meaning we're gonna grow it. For sure, question mark meaning maybe, and the X meaning absolutely not. And so, AC Wendy, I'm not going to read all these, and I think you can even go on the Norse website and it'll tell you what they grow, and you can look into them further if you want to order your own plants. But they have, you know, exactly what it is good for. They have what season, like early season, early mid-late, and late season. And then they even have the zones which it grows best in. And so they give you, they really just dumb it down to make it extremely easy for everybody. And so for us, I'll go through the ones we want first, which I know for certain because we've grew them and we like them. Galetta, Yambu, which is an early season and an early mid. All these, this page here is like the mid-season, and I didn't really like any of those that we've grown before or just the description. And then on the back page here, which is Dickens, we've grown. I like those. So that's a question mark, but I'm thinking more of a check mark. And then AC Valley Sunset, which we like a lot. All the other varieties, and I'll just run through them here quick. Honeyo never grew, but has a question mark because it looks good by the description. Grew Jewel, don't like it. Grew Brunswick. Never grew All-Star. Grew Cavendish. Grew Dar Select. Grew Flavor Fest, and I would say out of this whole page, I like these the best. The only problem is that they just get smaller every single year to the point where they're almost not even pickable. Never picked Sparkle, grew Cabot, and grew Sonata. Now, and then over here, after you get through the June bearing, then there is Everbearing, which we grow one variety of each. We grow, I think it's Albion, but I can't say for certain, in the Everbearing. And I think for the June bearing, we grow Goleta because we just absolutely love Goleta. And I know I'm talking a lot about strawberries, but there is just so much that goes into them. They're extremely hard to grow. That's why not many people grow them. That's why a lot of U-pick patches, even like around our area, are like kind of shutting down just because, like I said, it's hard if you're a farmer growing other vegetables, other crops, and growing strawberries to put your full time and effort into strawberries. And when you don't do that, it shows because you'll have strawberries that die. You'll have strawberries that don't perform like they should, just like anything else, except strawberries just seem to require a little more maintenance. And so I can't exactly say that all these varieties are bad, because that could just be our soil that the plants don't like. It could be that maybe we didn't water them when they should have been watered, or we didn't have the right nutrients on them when we should have, been fertilizing them more. So I'm not saying that these are bad varieties whatsoever. I'm just saying what we've seen works the best for us, for how we take care of them. And I would say if I had to pick one out of all of these strawberries that they grow, it would 100% be Goleta. And if I had to pick a second one and that was it, it would be AC Valley. Those two every year just seem to perform. They don't die out, and they just last a long time with big, beautiful, sweet berries. And so basically what we're looking for is about 4 or 5 different varieties, like I said, that have an early, mid, a mid, late, something of that sort, because you don't want all early, or you're going to have one crop, they're going to die out, and that's going to be your season. If you have early, mid, late, whatever, you can harvest throughout the entire June season, and you basically never run out. Your early will kind of end, and then your mid will come on, but then you're still a little bit picking the early, and then you're all of a sudden your late will come on, and then by that time your early is basically just about over, but you're still picking your mid and your late. If you follow that was a lot to kind of understand there. And so, like I said, just a lot going on with berries. Now, for our sake, because we're planting like 20 to 30,000 strawberries, they have now come out with a plug. And that is that pictured right there. And if you've seen my videos before, you've seen us plant these. I absolutely love it. Mom, Dad, all of us have agreed this is the best way to go. The only problem is this plug right here compared to a bare root, which is how I think you can buy all of these plants, is about 4 times the amount. Something close to that. Don't quote me on the price, but I'm pretty sure it's like 15 cents for a bare root. It's like 60 cents or somewhere in that price range for a plug. Now, we do get a little bit of special pricing because we're ordering so many, but still, it's not very cheap. For an at-home grower, I would 100% just say, buy the bare root. You're only planting at most 50, 100, maybe 200 plants if you're absolutely going crazy. And in 2 hours, you could probably have that done. They even sell these little metal tools that you can poke the bare roots down into the ground with. If you're planting the plugs, well, then you just dig a little hole, drop it in, and you're good to go. And so because we have to order all these very soon and figure out exactly what we want and how many we want, tonight will be the deciding factor of what we're buying and how many of each. I'm gonna walk out here now and check out the berry field. There's really not much going on just because they're still kind of dormant. But if we would decide to go with all plugs, which is way easier, we can plant them with the planter, they're getting watered at the same time, it's gonna be around $12,000 to like $13,000. And that's a lot of money. It's really windy, and that's a lot of money though, when you're talking plants. And again, that just proves the point of why a lot of people don't grow the berries, because not only do they require a lot of maintenance and upkeep, but it's very expensive and labor intensive to get them into the ground. Hopefully they're not sold out, because that was issues in other years. We definitely should have ordered like months ago, but you know, we have a lot going on and we're not always on the ball with everything. So we'll see, but hopefully if you're thinking about growing strawberries, this helped you out a little bit. Like I said, we've always gone with Norse. We have actually had last year or 2 years, whenever we planted our last strawberry patch, Norse couldn't get all the plants that we wanted just because it was later in the season. So we went with 2 other growers, and I can't remember their names. I'll try and figure them out. But anyway, the plants from Norse were just far better than the other 2 companies. They were a little bit smaller, which made it easier to put them into the ground, and they just were a lot healthier in general. And so we just noticed a lot better stand in the field. You know, a couple weeks after planting, we didn't have to replace near as many plants. And so that's why we really highly recommend Norse, but I'm sure there's other growers out there that are just as good that we just don't know about. I think Norse is out of Waterloo, Massachusetts. So they're coming a long way, and then that's another thing you got to factor in as you're shipping. I think before other years it was like $1,000 or $2,000 in shipping to get them sent here, because these all come in 50 cell trays, kind of like you see our 72 cell trays down in the greenhouse, and that takes up a lot of room in a truck. So everything just costs a lot of money, and you really gotta dedicate yourself if this is what you want to do. And so I like it. Strawberries are one of my favorite things to grow. It's just like I said, takes a lot to produce them. And so hopefully that cleared things up a little bit for you guys. That's what I'm gonna call to wrap this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. You know, always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.